Bug Implementer.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Before we dive deeper into real programming fundamentals, I want to take a moment to appreciate the foundation you've already built here in Godot and talk about what that actually means for you as a game developer going forward. Up until now, you've been learning to communicate with the engine. You've learned how to make Godot talk back to you using simple print statements. And you've developed the habit of asking the engine questions. That's the beginning of debugging. It's the beginning of curiosity, and honestly, it's the beginning of every successful developer's mindset. You've seen that every node in this engine stores data through properties: position, rotation, texture, animation, visibility. All of these are just values living inside objects. By inspecting properties and changing them, you've already dipped your toes into object-oriented thinking without having to read any boring theory. Along the way, you've discovered that those values aren't random. They have types. Some properties hold text, some hold numbers, some hold true or false, and some hold special structured data like vectors or transforms. Understanding that different types behave differently is something most beginners struggle with for a long time. You've already internalized that idea by simply printing things, changing them, and watching what happens. And then there are methods. Methods are actions nodes can perform. Some return information back to you, some just do something and move on. Some need extra information inside of them, and some are designed to be overwritten later. The important part is this: instead of reinventing the wheel, you've learned to let the engine do complex work for you. That's what real engine programming is. You command pre-built behavior instead of building everything from scratch. One of the biggest milestones you've reached is becoming comfortable with the documentation. A lot of beginners are intimidated by it, but not you. You've scrolled through properties, browsed methods, looked at inheritance, experimented, and discovered what things do by yourself. That is the superpower. You now know how to teach yourself new features as you grow. Most people never get there. You also now have a feeling for what a scene in Godot really is. It's simply a collection of nodes arranged in a small hierarchy called the scene tree, where nodes can act as parents, children, or siblings. You've already worked inside that structure, and that understanding will grow as we build more complex scenes later on. You now know how to access siblings, parents, and children by name and by relative path. That's how gameplay systems talk to UI, how buttons control characters, and how enemies find the player. You're no longer stuck inside a single script. You think system-wide. Speaking of communication, signals are your first real taste of event-driven design. Buttons sending messages, nodes reacting to triggers, animations notifying you when they finish. This is how dynamic behavior works. You're already thinking in terms of something happened, now respond. Now, all of this might feel normal by this point, but that's the point. These ideas usually scare beginners. They get overwhelmed. But because you learned them by doing through experimentation and repetition, you just kind of absorbed them naturally. So now, when we start introducing real programming fundamentals, custom variables, custom functions, Boolean expressions, if-else logic, user input, state changes, it's not going to feel abstract. It's going to feel obvious. That's the difference between memorizing syntax and actually understanding what you're doing. You're no longer just clicking, you're investigating, you're reasoning. These are real developer skills forming, and you earn them step by step. From this point on, things get even more interesting. We are going to shift from using built-in behavior to creating our own rules, our own systems, our own logic. You'll go from telling Godot what to do to designing why and when it does it. If you've made it this far, be proud of yourself. Most people quit long before they ever reach this level of understanding. So stick with it, keep experimenting, break things on purpose, print everything you're curious about, and get ready. The next phase is where your creativity and your code start working together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.